What makes zero sense to you? When you work with someone who has boundary issues as part of their diagnosis with specifics to issues with women and you do absolutely nothing to set a personal boundary with them. Their boundaries to consistently be crossed when you know they are unable to advocate for themselves. Why would you blame the people who aren't there when they ask questions about what was happening? Capitalism. Seriously. We play the game, but we know it's rigged. We are socialized into believing it's the only game that actually works to redistribute wealth and power. And it's done through meritocracy and individualism. So work hard as a person, and you will be rewarded in the game of life. But that's not happens to most. The working hard part mostly makes profit for other people. Inequality is expanding rapidly, but people love their capitalism. This makes zero sense to me. Why Earth is the only planet with life out of the millions we've discovered? Why our planet and not some other planet? Why in our solar system? Why is ours habitable and the rest dead? Reading up on this basically tells you that a bunch stuff in space was flying around and reacting with each other in some specific way that made life possible. Okay, but how? The conditions needed for life to develop on a planet must be extremely specific and complex. Why does the Western left defend Islam so much? Even women and LGBT people, feminists, defending Islam. All these people defending a religion that's against them having rights. I don't understand at all. I've seen some leftists defend things like Sharia too. It makes me wonder if the left really do care about people, or if they're just virtue signaling. They'd never defend Christianity like this. It puts me off the left tbh. The fact that our brains can turn electromagnetic radiation into comprehensible images. I understand how a camera works. I understand how a cathode ray tube works. I understand how a flat screen display works. I understand why these are decent analogs for describing how the eye works. But how are we able to see things just as well as a camera? How are we able to reproduce images as well as a television screen? Where I work, we share a massive parking lot with a 24-hour gym. It always amazes me that people go into the gym will park their crew cab giant trucks as close as they can to the front of the very busy gym entrance. They won't park further out where there's plenty of space. They have to get right up to the door so they can presumably go inside and exercise. But parking to all 3 car aisles over is too far. The popularity of those Stanley Cups. I for the life of me cannot tell the difference between those cups and any number of other brands, such as Yeti or Contigo. As far as I can tell, they do not do anything better or worse, or look significantly different. They seem to come out of nowhere like some sort of strange alien invasion. I'm guessing that I am not the target market for this, and that is okay. Homelessness. Study after study has shown that it is less expensive for a society to take care of its citizens with a social safety net, that it is less expensive to help people than to do what we are currently doing in America. IT is less expensive to help people. Yet, there are always people complaining about helping people, and they're usually religious. Why sports players, actors, and musicians are so highly paid, I mean, other professions such as doctors, paramedics, teachers, police officers and firefighters should be making way more than they do. I think it's shitty how celebrities are living in mansions whereas other professions are struggling to pay their bills. Makes no sense to me. The stock market, why does it even need to exist? It seems like a weird gambling ring, except instead of betting on inconsequential things like sports, they're betting on people's careers and livelihoods. The whole thing seems like a scam to keep rich people getting richer while screwing over everyone who isn't in on the whole scheme. Racism, could never understand it. Even a little. Told us early on that the color of skin had zero to do with anything, and I later traveled the world for many years, living for 6-12 months in a variety of countries, so maybe that made the difference. But yeah, racism makes zero sense. Why really old politicians who are very wealthy still want to work? You have more money than you or your family will ever need, and the stress of the job is probably insane. Why not just live out the rest of your life having a good time with your family instead of being hated by half the country? At least How it's socially acceptable for grown-ups to constantly drink liquid candy. If a coworker pulled out a large bag of gummy bears and ate that with their lunch every day, then people might think that was a little odd. Yet, a soda that contains even more sugar is fully expected. That's just weird to me. The need to be constantly on your phone during an event, so you are not really experiencing the event itself, but trying to capture it in photos or video. Like concerts, for instance. Whenever someone posts a video from a concert, I never click on it. Who wants to hear part of a song, blasting, etc.? Why being incorporated or having dotting after your business title is supposed to be a flex? Suddenly, I would trust a business who is willing to put their personal net worth value on the line. Then a business who protects their money limits the amount that you can sue them by incorporating. The absolute obsession with Taylor Swift. Don't get me wrong, I like plenty of her songs and think she's gorgeous, but she's otherwise a generic white woman with clear emotional attachment issues. How she is able to potentially determine the outcome of the 2024 election is beyond me. People still taking Trump serious. He is a mentally unfit clown who tried to overthrow an election. He stole top-secret docs. He owes his victim $83 million. Still has more charges, and he is the best the Republicans can come up with. The cult mind has handicapped people's brains. The hard problem of consciousness, color, or that we can think thoughts at all. Does consciousness rise from the structure of unconscious materials? Is it separate from it? Are all things conscious in some understanding of the word? Why? When parents call your name from another room and you call back what? They don't respond, so you have to get up from your nice comfy bed chair and walk into a whole ass other room. Like, I'd even appreciate a come here. I need to show you something instead of just silence. And on seriously mentally ill people, many of whom neither have the strongest grasp on reality nor believe they're mentally ill, to stay compliant and consistent in self-administering their medication. Spoiler alert, most don't. Quantum entanglement, and or how there actually is infinite space that doesn't end. My brain just cannot accept those concepts for whatever reason. I almost get there in my head, then it just shuts off. I can't process any more law. Quantum mechanics. I have an engineering degree and taken a number of college physics classes, and it makes no sense to me. Later on I realized that it didn't make sense to most of the people who were teaching the class either. This next election is going to come down to the same two fucking clowns that we had to choose from last time, compounded by the fact that a choice of one or the other is actually an illusion of choice. The overall existence of everything, and even more if there never was any conscious being to nourish the existence of everything. Like the fuck? There is just perpetual being of matter. Where does it come from? Why? No one freaks out about saying they need a hammock, and then when they open their phones they're suddenly seeing pop-up hammock ads. No one cares. Yes, you can disable it, but you ain't disabling shit except the ads. I generated images being called AI art, and people using AI prompt-based image generation calling themselves artists. It's not. It's like warming a TV dinner in the microwave and calling yourself a gourmet chef. Religion. There's a whole bunch of them. Even more if you include dead religions. You were just lucky enough to be born into the correct religion and then base your entire life around it. Never made sense to me. Most things since 2017, but I digress. Wearing pajamas to work, FMLA abuse, and hiring warm bodies with zero experience and limited cognitive skills. The older you get, the less things make sense it seems. How airplanes work. NF says. Why college costs so much. Why people don't stop at stop signs. Why vision dental are separate from general insurance. Why aren't teachers paid more? And how TV has evolved. How Trump has not gotten arrested for all the awful shit he's pulled. How he is still allowed to run for president. How religious people are morally okay with voting for him. It doesn't make sense. My math teacher's explanations wasn't able to understand the rules or something from 1.5 hours in class. But the explanation on Google written in one sentence taught me everything in few seconds. How some sodas drinks have so much sugar in them. Like, what would it taste like without the sugar? Does I actually need that much flavoring to mask it, or do we need that much to taste something? How health insurance actually works, or how your drive can call and check and confirm your own network. You can call and do the same. Yet somehow when the bill comes, it's suddenly not anymore. Sports fanaticism. I'm gonna pick on Raiders fans. They left you, not once, but twice, but the fans are still fanatical. They moved from LA to Oakland, and then left the state entirely. How smell travels if a smelly object is sitting on the ground. How is the smell getting off of that object and into my nose? I've heard the scientific explanation, but I do not accept it. How we in the US allow corporations to blatantly fuck us over 1,000 different ways, affecting just about every facet of our lives. All because of lobbyists and citizens united. People that are assholes that think they're smarter than others and got more pull that like to pick on people and bully them. What a better place to beat them at their game of knowledge. How people who have a lot think they are better than those who don't. How can you have a ton of money or resources and not want to help people who don't? It seems unnatural to me. How cryptic and unfair the US police and legal system are. There's a reason we have the most incarcerated people per capita, and it isn't because we're all such naughty citizens, making an adaptation only to shit on the source material and set it on fire. If you wanted to tell your own damn story, use your own damn names for characters and places too. Why high street shops in my country mostly only open 9-5 when most people are also working. Why they don't open around lunchtime, say, and then close sound around 9 or 10 p.m.